Okay, I promised you a video to describe a little deeper in the construct. So an example would be, let's just say you want to know about the events, right? So everyone's talking about an event. I think they're talking about a 3-2. Anyways, so everyone's talking about an event and you're like, I want to know about the event. That is a construct, right? The idea of an event and someone telling you what the event is instead of you knowing within yourself, you have the right to turn that on. So you create somebody outside of yourself and you wait to hear what they have to tell you. I don't know if that's necessarily a good example, but it's the construct of that would mean, so we'll break it down, would be that you are giving your power away to something outside of yourself. So that would mean that your world is created with you being powerless while you give others your power. Like someone gets to be put on a teacher podium and then you get to be the student. So from there, you're always relying upon someone to give you something instead of you creating from what you have. So that's going to get really frustrating really fast. Real fast. You're constructing a reality system with a government there and a person that gives you a job and a boss. Those are constructs to that thinking construct. It's not too bad of an example. Welcome to constructs. So what's an easy way to identify your constructs, right? Repetitiveness. Repetitiveness is usually a sign that you're building constructs, your realities from emotional experiences, and it's regurgitating itself. It's on a roll. Girls do that a lot when it comes to having someone come save us. A, we're giving our power away, and B, we're wanting someone to come save us. Therefore, we have to create teachers, which I did. I would have to create people I made more important than I made myself. I had to create a job where I had a boss who couldn't see me, so I'd have to constantly be proving myself. That's just a chunk. By the way, I'm using my examples of myself as a construct. What would dismantle that construct and create a new one? Closing my eyes, identifying that I'm connected to Mother, Father, Source, and telling them I feel helpless and I need their support, because that's, by the way, what I did. And lots of tears came from that. But on the other side, you experience that connection inside. And it's going to feel and look different based on your tactile things. Some people are feelers, some people are seers. So some people see stuff, some people feel stuff, but guaranteed you're going to experience an unconditional, compassionate love. And my thing was, I had to work through this feeling of not feeling worthy. Like I had developed this idea that I was a bad person and I had to prove myself. So that was my construct. And the construct of my reality system which related to how I saw the world, the jobs that I had, the relationships, and that means friendships and also love relationships, love interest, had to be from that perspective. That's what I attracted in. That's what I played with. That's why I got pissed off and I've left. It's all of it. And so the whole entire time I'm creating these constructs out of my emotional story. Now you can say, well, how do we surpass it? Okay, great, Susan, I can identify my own construct that I'm creating because I'm an incredible manifester. And personally, I like to co-create. That's what I've learned, that I didn't like to co-create. In this last year, I realized that I was trying to do it all on my own. And it was like giving a wizard a wand and having all this emotional stuff go on at the same time that I'm creating. Bing, 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 right? So I personally found that co-creating with the Divine Mother and the Divine Father, and you can call it any religious format in which you find love, right? From your who's created you and created all things in the universe. I realized that I was doing another thing, shame, blame, right? Shame, blame. Blame, shame. That's a fun one to construct in a construct of reality, right? So the shame, blame game was I fuck up and then I blame you for it. Or I come to you and you would have to be the opposite of what it is that I truly want to attract. So let's say I come to you needing support, but really you can't be support because I didn't really come to you needing support. I came to you with a hurt, constructing a non-supportive person so I could then realize the greater, bigger picture of support from the universe. Sound familiar? I hope some of these do, because then we can play the mirror game and I can just share some of my constructs and then it'll be easier for you to see. And then I want to make all of this fun and I want to make all of this easy so it doesn't create minefields, right? Like it's impossible because if we thought about what's impossible, all of this is really like totally impossible. This whole concept of being a human when we're really spiritual beings feels absolutely impossible, but we're doing it. The fact that something created all things in the universe and we get to connect with that, feels impossible. So it would be like a seed that came from a watermelon that got planted in the ground that created another watermelon, and then the watermelon went, oh my God, I came from a seed. That's my explanation to creation in a construct. Okay. So we could say outside of ourselves is the enemy, or we could say that outside of ourselves is the mirror. I have identified that I'm such a badass manifester, co-creating with the universe, that I'm creating things outside myself to give myself clues to how to identify where my ego needs love. And I'm also feel that, by the way, it's the first time I'm talking about it outside of me doing it. So if I'm like, please enjoy that piece of it too, because I'm grabbing the information from experiences and seeing how I can format the words to convey to you a message. I'm doing my best. So I'm doing my best. How's that? That confidence? Like I've got like several different characters inside of me. I'm doing my best. and that's the sweet girl. And then I've got the I'm doing my best, that's the Aries, confident. And I've developed all of those based on the ability of not feeling confident that I'm doing my best and that my best is good enough. But that's another construct. So, the mirror, creating the mirror outside of ourselves to see ourselves, which is why we go into the second piece, which is to have compassion. So I did not know that not having compassion for another would only project not having compassion for myself. If you haven't discovered that truth yet, let's write that one down. Right now, that's a good one. To not have compassion for another and to shame and blame is not to have compassion for yourself. When I realized that I was doing this all on my own for a long time and I just refused to connect to the universe, right? And then things didn't work out and I felt like I was having a meltdown. It was all me, compounding construct after construct, and I never even asked for help to get the help. Now I ask for the help and I get the help, and I feel grateful to receive. So I got to learn that I was constructing a world that was a lot of output and a lot of failure to ensure this hopeless feeling and this idea that I was being punished for being a very bad person. And it was all self-created in a construct I called my life. And I had this desire in the process to save others or to give away my power to others. And these are my constructs and these were my realities. And then when I learned about myself, which is the most important thing of why we're even talking right now, is all of this is for you to see yourself, for you to identify how to see yourself, not in shame or blame, but in a beautiful way of getting to know yourself. I mean, there's going to be a point that you're going to look at the person that stands before you in the mirror and really appreciate that you're on the ride with you. And it's a really good feeling. And I love being loved, but more importantly, I love knowing that I love myself. And it's not like I love myself, so it's all over. No, it's like I love myself, and there's an infinite way to love myself. So I'm just starting, right? So this year I realized I was doing it on my own, and that letting the Divine Mother and Father come in and all my light family to assist was vital for me. And then I got to see, with no shame at all, that I was creating my own misery. I was creating the things that I hated that I was seeing. I was creating them so I could hate them, so I could keep retracting back into self. Because I could not see that all the things I was seeing, all the things that I was creating in my construct were a way for me to see myself and a way for me to appreciate myself. So we go outside to seek others when really the one that wants to be seeked, to be found, is you finding you. And we're creating a construct around that truth. And then we can talk about awakening and all that stuff. You know, let this sink in. This is